Yo, let's wait for some people to get in here. See how this works, because I'm not fully sure how to work a YouTube Live. So, if you're just joining, that's what I'm trying to figure out, how to work the YouTube Live. And once we get some people in here, we can start the story time. So I guess it's just sit back and wait now. What did I do today? Woke up, saw the puppy. She was good. They did this electrical fence training today, and last week they had the flags up, but really low level of shocking, for the collar. And the dogs were just running straight through, and today they jacked up the shocking level to I don't know the levels, but they turned it up, right? So now the dogs, when they go outside, they walk in like a weird ass little pattern, or else they get shocked super hard, and I feel so bad. I've never been a fan of shock collars, and then now my puppy has one. It makes me sad, but whatever works, honestly. If it'll get her to not run away, I'll take it. But I also feel bad because imagine you're going outside to go to the bathroom as a dog, and then you just get shocked a bunch. Makes me feel like an asshole a little bit. Yo, what's up? I don't know who joined, but what's up, man? I'm just waiting. Trying to wait for 3, 4, 5 people to join before I start the story. Because I went live one time, and I started telling the story, and then a couple more people joined, and I was like, well... And they wanted me to restart. I was not going to restart that, but what's up? Hope your day's good. I'm still going to do a story time after this, because I don't know how many people are going to show up to this, so I still got the choking out my uncle after this, but if no one joins in 2 minutes, we'll just start the story anyways. There's another bee right outside my window. I'm glad I didn't open that one. Damn, I want to smoke too, but can't do that on camera for another year. That'll add so much content too. I was thinking about that, because there's a lot of guys that I watch that talk about, getting stoned and tell stories and whatever. And I tell stories too, but I can't actually show anything or have anything in the background of videos until I'm 21, which is unfortunate. But at least when that time comes, which is a year away, we'll have a lot more content. I'm also thinking about starting a podcast once the channel's bigger, once it's a couple thousand subscribers. So then there's some more people in here. Another person join. What's up? Hope your day's good also. I'll start the story in a minute then, because 2 people's enough. 1 person, good enough, you know what I mean? I'll just start that now. So let me think. I was 15 or 16, right? Doing a lot of coke at the time, which is not good. Don't do that. But I was doing that, and I was doing a little bit of Xanax, but not too much, right? And I rode around with this kid who, when I got kicked out, he let me stay at his house, and he was sketchy, but he was also chill, you know what I mean? You wouldn't bring him around your parents, probably ever, but, you'd go over and hang out with him, I was kicked out, so I stayed at his house a lot. So I was hanging out with him and, 3 other kids who were all, 2, 3 years older than me, right? And they're all fucking sketchy. I mean, I was sketchy at the time, too, but they're, older and sketchy, And I used to feel unsafe around all of them, but then once I started doing all the hard drugs with them, it kind of became oh, it's just a little version of all these kids, So I'm hanging out with them one day, and I have coke in my pocket, I have Xanax in my other pocket, and I have a vape in my sock, right? I don't know why I always kept it in my sock. Honestly, it was because when I was with these kids, the one dude that would always drive, you would think if you have drugs in the car, illegal drugs, that the person driving would drive normal. But no, he was the type to swerve in and out of traffic and switch lanes without the blinker and stuff, right? So we'd get pulled over probably we got pulled over 5 times, and I only hung out with them 10 times. So half the time there were cops involved, So it was almost yeah, I could see that happening. And I always had this thought and I never had anything on me when we did get pulled over. But this time, right, I was thinking if we happen to get pulled over, I'm going to stick my drug stuff down the side of the car, right? Down the seats. But I didn't think we'd get pulled over. What happens? We're driving for 10 minutes, just blasting music, right? And I remember that was back when when Peep wasn't as relevant, so I didn't know all of his songs, and they'd play him. I loved them. I loved that, right? That was fun. I wish I could go back and, like, rehear those songs for the first time, right? So, we're driving or whatever, and a cop lights us up. I can't remember the reason. I don't think we were even speeding, but I think it was definitely for switching lanes without the fucking blinker, you know? So the cop pulls us over and walks up to the car, and he's talking to a dude. And our driver is being, like, aggressive, you know? He's not, like, swearing at the cop, but he's not being friendly and, you know, doing what he says. He's kind of being a jerk. Like, the cop's like, when's your birthday? And the guy's like, why don't you look at my ID, you know? Like, shit like that. Like, he's just being kind of passive-aggressive, right? So we're sitting there for a while, and he tells the driver that he needs to get out of the car. He needs to search him, right? I don't know what the reasoning was. I wasn't paying too much attention. I was on my phone texting my friends, holy shit, we're pulled over, right? Because I'm like 15. I'm like trying to be cool. I'm like, there's cops here. I have drugs in my pocket, right? Didn't even think about my whole plan about how I was going to stick it down the side of the seats, because I thought 100% sure I'm not getting searched. You know what I mean? Like, not me, right? So the driver gets searched. He has stuff in his pocket. He gets arrested. So then what happens? Our driver's gone, which means the car is now not a thing, right? So they take all of us out of the car, and they say that they're going to search us, right? So they line us up against the car. I have Coke in my right pocket, Zans in my left pocket, and the vape in my sock, like I said, right? I'm standing there freaking the fuck out. Now, they're searching this, the dude's girlfriend was in the passenger seat. I was in the back left, and there was a kid in the back right with me, right? The girl was getting searched next, and then the dude to the right, and then me. I was last, right? The back door to the car is still open, right? And I had a feeling that they were going to search the car no matter what, but I was also thinking not that this is good, but if I can stick some of that stuff in there and they do find it, it's going to get on someone else's record, you know what I mean? That's going to be on the other kid, not on me. But I also didn't want him to get caught, you know? I just wanted to get rid of the drugs. That's all I wanted to do, right? Didn't know how. So then they tell us that we need to back up and sit on the curb, right? So before they do that, I go, yo, my phone's in the back of the car. Can I grab it real quick so I can text my mom, right? Just some total bullshit. My phone was in my hand, I'm pretty sure, but the cop was searching him, so... And there was only one cop at the time. He did call backup, but the backup wasn't there yet, right? So he calls them, and he's searching the kid, right? So I just grab both baggies out of my pocket, and I put them right under the seat. Not a good hiding spot at all. I mean, that's like one of the first places they check, you know what I mean? But I didn't care. I just did not want it in my possession anymore, you know? So I just stick it under the seat, push it as far back as possible, the back seat too, you know? And then just go sit back on the curb, waiting to get searched. And the vape's still in my sock, but I wasn't worried about the vape. I was thinking, like, even if they catch me with this, what are they gonna do? Take it from me? Like, it's nicotine. So they finish searching the girl, and she had coke on her too, and both the driver and her lied to each other about having stuff on them. I'm guessing because everybody was a cokehead, they wanted it for themselves, you know? So both of them get fucking arrested. Then it's just me and that kid. I know he has stuff on him, right? I'm like, this is fucked. We're screwed. He gets caught. He also had a knife on him, like a big-ass knife, so it made the cop be, like, on edge when he started searching me, which I'm like, I'm just uncomfortable, right? Everybody's getting put in cop cars, and there was, like, 3 more cop cars that showed up as they're searching me, right? All the backup he called, but I think that's because, the rules about, like, having to take different people in different cars, you know? And I was the only minor, I think. There might have been one of the kids might have been 17, but I was the only minor, I'm pretty sure. So they start searching me, and I remember he taps all around, and he got pretty close to my dick, which was uncomfortable, but that's what cops do, you know? Then comes the time when I'm worried about the vape, right? Because he starts patting down my legs, right? And he tells me to push my legs back, right? Like put my hands on the car and push my legs back. So my legs are straight up, and I look down to the right, just kind of like a little peek, you know, not making it obvious that I'm looking at my sock, but just trying to, like, look to see if it's noticeable. There's a little bulge that looks just like a posh, and I'm like, well, fuck. That's not what you want, you know? That can't be good. So he starts going down my left leg, and he pats the entire left leg except the front of it, right? So I'm like, oh, here we go. And he goes to my right leg, and he touched it. He touched the posh. He went tap, 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 and touched it. Didn't do a thing. Like, he didn't grab it. He didn't take it out. I don't know if he noticed. He had gloves on, but not, like, thick gloves or anything. He had, like, the blue doctor gloves on, you know? Like, the searching people gloves. And he tapped my leg. He tapped the posh and just kept moving on. I don't know what he thought it was, if he even noticed. Maybe he doesn't have feeling in his left hand. I don't know. But he hit the posh and didn't do shit, right? Well, then they're searching the car. They're looking under the seat, and they find the drugs, right? I'm sitting off to the side talking to my mom. Well, I was only allowed to call her once, and she didn't answer. So then they said if she calls back, I can answer, but I just need to sit to the side as they're searching the car. And like I said, everybody else has been arrested, so I'm just fucking sitting there waiting, right? The cops go in and they find the drugs, right? And they come up to me and they're like, are these yours? And I'm like, nope. And they're like, so whose are they? And I'm like, I have no idea. We all do things, you know? And they're like, well, we searched everybody else and found stuff on them, so it would suggest that this is yours. And I'm like, well, it's not mine. They're like, then is it the driver's? And I'm like, well, it's not the driver's, right? And they're like, we need to bring you in until your mom answers, and then we can ask you a few questions, you know? And I should have said I wasn't okay with it. I don't know if that would have done anything, because I don't know. Some people know their laws really well, you know? Not me. I don't know them too well. I know the little ones, you know, like driving laws and shit, but I don't know everything that, like, cops can do sneakily, you know? I don't know if I could have denied going back to the police station or not, because I wasn't technically under arrest. Feel like I could have, right? But he's like, we're going back to the station. So I text my mom. I'm like, please call me as fast as you can, whenever you can, right? So we move on. We're driving down back to the police station. We get there. It's sketchy as fuck. Like, I'm walking through there, and I see one of the kids I was with, and he looks at me. I look at him like, oh, shit, you know? We go sit down, and the cop comes into this little room with me, and he's like, do you need anything? You need water? You gotta go to the bathroom or anything? I'm like, yeah, I do have to go to the bathroom, right? We go into the bathroom. I take my nicotine out in the police station right before I'm about to get questioned. I hit the nicotine, right? Which is pretty funny, in the police station, you know? So I rip my nicotine, put it back in my sock, come back out, and my mom calls me back, right? So I talk to my mom, like, Mom, all this stuff's happening. I'm not arrested, but I'm at the police station. Please come as fast as you can. They want to ask me things, right? She got there in like 6 minutes. So all the cop did was he sat me down and he asked me if I had to guess whose drugs those were, who I thought they were, things like that, right? And he was asking me, he was trying to get me to, like, straighten up my life. He's like, you know, you're young. You don't need to be hanging out with this crowd doing those things. That was kind of nice of it. I mean, he's right about that, but he also wanted me to snitch, so, you know, I'm glad I didn't do that. But never got in trouble. My mom came and picked me up. I left. It was all good, right? But there was another time I did get brought to the station, and I was supposed to go to, like, Zoom court and shit. It was all this shit. But I'm gonna go record my other video, so if you're checking this out, hope you enjoyed, and peace out. How do I end this thing? I don't know how to end it. Oh man. Alright, let's figure this out.